There's something quietly killing your confidence. It's not what others say about you. It's not a lack of skill or opportunity. It's not even failure itself. It's something much smaller, more subtle. Something hidden in your daily routine, woven into your thoughts, your words, and your reactions. You won't see it in the mirror. You won't hear it in conversations. But you feel it, in hesitation, self-doubt, and the fear that maybe, you're not enough. But here's the truth. The Stoics, those ancient masters of resilience, believed that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, by recognizing and removing what weakens your mind from within. In this video, we're going to expose 9 habits that quietly sabotage your confidence, habits that many of us carry without even realizing it. And for each one, you'll discover a powerful Stoic principle that can help you reverse the damage, and reclaim the calm, grounded confidence that's already within you. This isn't about hype. It's about clarity. It's not about pretending to be strong, it's about becoming strong, at your core. So stay with me, and let's uncover what's been holding you back. Habit 1. Constant self-comparison. Let's begin with a habit that almost everyone falls into, often without even realizing it, constantly comparing yourself to others. Picture this: you wake up, grab your phone, and start scrolling through social media. There's someone traveling to a beautiful country. Someone else just bought a new car. Another person got promoted or launched a successful business. And suddenly, you feel like you're behind. You feel like you're not doing enough, not achieving enough, not good enough. This kind of daily comparison is incredibly harmful, not just because it makes you feel bad in the moment, but because over time, it quietly erodes your self-confidence. It trains your brain to look outside for validation and worth, instead of looking within. When you're constantly measuring your life against someone else's, especially their best moments, the parts they choose to show, you start believing that you're falling short. But here's the truth: you're comparing your full, unfiltered reality to someone else's highlight reel. It's not a fair comparison, and it never will be. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop looking around, trying to meet other people's definitions of success or goodness. Just focus on becoming the best version of yourself. The Stoic viewpoint. One of the core Stoic principles is this: only focus on what you can control. You cannot control what other people do, what they achieve, how they look, or what opportunities they get. But you can control your own choices, your own habits, your own growth. And that's where your attention should be, not on what others are doing, but on who you're becoming. Here's a practical way to break this habit. Start a simple daily journaling routine. Every evening, take 5 minutes to write down one thing, just one, that you improved about yourself that day. It could be something small. Maybe you kept your cool in a stressful situation, maybe you finished a task you'd been putting off, or maybe you spoke up when you normally would have stayed silent. Over time, this habit shifts your focus inward and helps you track your progress, not someone else's. Also, look at your environment. If your social media feeds are filled with people who constantly make you feel inadequate or envious, consider muting, unfollowing, or taking a break from those accounts. It's not about resentment. It's about protecting your mental space. You are not in a competition with anyone else. Life isn't a race. Everyone has different starting points, different challenges, different paths. Real confidence doesn't come from outperforming others, it comes from knowing that you're making progress on your own journey. So, next time you catch yourself thinking, "I wish I was more like them," gently redirect that thought. Ask yourself, how can I become more of who I want to be? That's where true confidence begins, not in comparison, but in growth. Habit 2. Negative self-talk. Let's talk about that little voice inside your head. You know the one, the voice that whispers things like, "You're not good enough, you always mess things up," or "Why even try?" That voice, is lying to you. But here's the dangerous part: the more we hear it, the more we start to believe it. And over time, we don't just hear these thoughts, we start to live by them. That's what negative self-talk does. It slowly eats away at your confidence, one quiet, critical sentence at a time. And the worst part? We often don't even realize it's happening. It becomes so familiar that we think it's just the truth. But Stoic philosophy teaches us something powerful. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic thinkers, said, "It's not things themselves that upset us, but our judgments about things." Let's break that down. He's telling us that it's not the event, the failure, or the situation that causes us pain. It's the story we tell ourselves about it. And that includes the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. So when something goes wrong and your first reaction is to call yourself stupid, lazy, or worthless, that's not reality. That's a judgment. And Stoicism teaches us that we can change our judgments. We can learn to think differently. Here's the Stoic principle at work. Master your thoughts. That means remembering this: you are not your thoughts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. You can observe your thoughts. You can question them. And you can choose to believe something better. Think of your mind like a garden. Negative self-talk is like weeds: if you don't pull them out, they spread. But the good news is, you can plant new, healthier thoughts in their place. Let's make this practical. Next time you hear that inner critic start to speak, pause. Take a breath. And ask yourself 2 questions. Is this thought actually true? Would I say this to someone I care about? If the answer is no, then it doesn't belong in your mind either. For example, instead of saying, "I'm a failure," try this. "I didn't succeed this time, but I learned something useful." That shift, from harsh judgment to neutral observation, is where your confidence starts to rebuild. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about telling yourself the truth in a way that lifts you up, instead of tearing you down. So here's your takeaway. The way you talk to yourself matters. That voice in your head is with you 24 hours a day. Make sure it's a voice of reason, not destruction. Speak to yourself with the same clarity, honesty, and kindness that you'd offer to a close friend. Because the truth is, you are worthy. You are capable. And you can change the way you think. And that's where real, lasting confidence begins. Habit 3. Fear of judgment. Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something just because you were afraid of what people might think? Maybe you wanted to speak up in a meeting or try something new, but a little voice inside said, "What if they laugh? What if I mess up in front of everyone?" This fear, the fear of being judged, holds a lot of people back. It keeps us quiet when we should speak. It keeps us stuck when we should grow. We end up playing it safe, staying small, and hiding from the very things that could make us stronger. But the Stoic philosopher Seneca said something powerful. We suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Think about that. Most of the pain we feel from fear isn't coming from what actually happens, it's coming from what we think might happen. Here's the truth. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to pay much attention to your mistakes. And even if they do notice, it usually doesn't matter nearly as much as you think. So what's the Stoic approach? It's about becoming less concerned with what other people think, and more focused on how you choose to live. You can't control other people's opinions. You can control your actions. Here's something simple you can try. Pick one small thing each day that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, something that might draw attention or invite judgment. It could be speaking up in a group, sharing your honest opinion, asking a question in public. Before you do it, write down what you're afraid might happen. Then, after you do it, reflect on what actually happened. Chances are, it wasn't nearly as bad as you imagined. And here's the key idea to remember. Being confident doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means you choose to act even when you feel afraid. So stop living like you're being watched all the time. Because most of the time, no one's really watching. Habit 4. Perfectionism. Have you ever told yourself, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all? That's perfectionism talking, and it's one of the sneakiest ways we destroy our own confidence. It convinces us that making mistakes is worse than not trying at all. But the truth is, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect result only leads to missed opportunities. You stay stuck, not because you can't move forward, but because you're afraid it won't be flawless. Now listen to this from Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic emperors. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, you can't control how everything turns out. But you can control how much effort you put in. That's what the Stoics believed. It's your job to do your best, not to chase perfection. So how do you apply this? Try this: the next time you start a task, set a time limit. Don't aim for perfect, aim to finish. Then, instead of judging yourself on the outcome, ask, did I give it my best effort today? That's what matters. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until everything is perfect. It comes from knowing that you're showing up, doing the work, and growing, even if things are messy. Let go of perfection. Embrace progress. Habit 5. Avoiding discomfort. Let's be honest, most of us know what we need to do. Whether it's starting a new project, having a tough conversation, or hitting the gym. But the moment it feels uncomfortable, we put it off. We delay. We tell ourselves, maybe later. That might feel safe right now, but every time you avoid discomfort, you send your mind a message. I can't handle this. And over time, that message eats away at your confidence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, difficulties are things that show a person who they are. In other words, the challenges you face, they're not there to stop you. They're there to reveal your strength. Stoics believed in something called voluntary hardship, doing tough things on purpose, so that when life throws real challenges your way, you're already prepared. So how can you apply this? Try this. Take a cold shower in the morning. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But that's the point. You're training your mind to stop running from discomfort. Or pick one thing each day that's hard for you, and just do it. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Whatever it is, lean into it, not away from it. Because here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before courage. It comes after. Every time you do something uncomfortable on purpose, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fear. That's how confidence grows, not in comfort, but in action. Habit 6. Seeking validation. Think about this: you post something online and immediately start checking for likes. You say something in a conversation and glance around to see if people agree. That's the habit of seeking validation, constantly looking outside of yourself for approval. And here's the problem: the more you rely on others to tell you you're doing okay, the more power you give away. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, put it bluntly: a man who is always concerned about what others think is a slave. In other words, if your sense of worth depends on what others say or think, you're not really free. So what's the Stoic way out? It's simple, but powerful: live by your own values. Instead of asking, what will people think of me, ask, what do I think of me? When you start living in alignment with your core beliefs, not someone else's expectations, confidence starts to grow naturally. Here's a practical exercise. Take a few minutes to list your top 5 values, the things that matter most to you. Honesty, growth, kindness, discipline, whatever they are, write them down. That's your values compass. Let it guide your decisions. Then, challenge yourself to go one full day, 24 hours, without asking for feedback or approval. Don't fish for compliments, don't check for reactions. Just do what feels right to you. Notice how it feels. It might be uncomfortable at first. But you'll also notice something else, a quiet strength starting to form inside. Real confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to be validated. It comes from knowing who you are and standing by it, whether anyone claps for you or not. The moment you stop outsourcing your self-worth to others, that's the moment you reclaim your power. Habit 7. Procrastination. Let's talk about a habit we're all guilty of at some point, procrastination. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But then tomorrow turns into next week. And before you know it, nothing gets done. What's really happening here is that you're sending a quiet message to your mind, I don't think I can handle this right now. But here's the thing, procrastination doesn't protect your confidence, it chips away at it. Every time you avoid something important, you're teaching yourself not to trust your own word. Even Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, called this out. He once asked, you could be good today. Why do you choose tomorrow instead? The Stoic approach is clear, act now, with purpose. Don't wait for the perfect moment, just begin. Here's a simple way to start. Break your task into the smallest possible steps. So small, they feel almost effortless. And if something will take less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. Don't even think about it, just knock it out. It might seem like a tiny win, but every time you take action, even on the smallest step, you're building trust in yourself. And confidence? It's built on that trust. So the next time you feel like putting something off, remember this. You don't need to finish the whole thing right now. You just need to begin. Habit 8. Dwelling on the past. Have you ever caught yourself replaying a mistake in your mind, over and over again, thinking, why did I do that? Or, if only I had done things differently. We all have moments we wish we could go back and change. But here's the truth, constantly living in the past takes you away from the one place where real change and confidence happen, the present. Think about it, the past is gone. No matter how much you think about it, you can't go back and undo it. What you can do, though, is choose how you move forward. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So instead of obsessing over what went wrong, focus on what's still in your control, your mindset, your actions, your next step. What can you do right now? Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Take a few quiet minutes and write a letter to your past self. Be honest. Forgive yourself. Acknowledge what happened. Then, let it go. You're not that same person anymore. Another tool that helps? Mindfulness meditation. Even just 5 minutes a day can help train your mind to come back to the present, where your confidence lives. Remember this. The past is there to teach you, not to trap you. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about learning, growing, and choosing better, right now. Let the past go. Choose to show up fully in the moment. That's where your power is. Habit 9. Overthinking. Have you ever spent so much time thinking about a decision that you ended up making no decision at all? You go back and forth, weighing every little detail, afraid of choosing the wrong thing. That's overthinking, and it's one of the biggest confidence killers out there. It feels like you're being careful. Like you're being smart. But really? Overthinking is fear pretending to be wisdom. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius said it best. If something isn't right, don't do it. If it isn't true, don't say it. That's it. Simple. Direct. Confident. So what can we learn from that? The Stoic principle here is clarity through reason. Don't drown in details. Think clearly, decide, and move forward. Try this practical tip. The next time you're stuck in your head, give yourself a deadline. Say, I'll think this through for 10 minutes, then I'll decide. And if you're still unsure, ask yourself, what would a wise person do in my shoes? And remember this. Confidence doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're willing to make a decision, take action, and learn from whatever comes next. Conclusion. These 9 habits we've talked about, they don't shout for attention. They creep in quietly. Little by little. And before you know it, they've taken root. But now, you've spotted them. You've named them. And most importantly, you understand how they've been holding you back. With the wisdom of the Stoics, you have the tools to take your confidence back. So here's what to remember. Don't waste your energy comparing yourself to others, focus on becoming a better version of you. Speak to yourself with respect, your words matter, even the ones no one hears. Stop letting the fear of what people might think control your actions, show up anyway. Discomfort isn't your enemy, it's how you grow. You don't need the world's approval, you just need your own. Don't put things off until tomorrow, take the first step today. Don't stay stuck in the past, learn from it, then let it go. And don't overthink every decision, trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one thought, one action, one day at a time. The Stoics didn't try to impress people. They focused on mastering their own minds, their own choices, their own lives. Now it's your turn. If something in this message resonated with you, ask yourself, which habit are you ready to leave behind today? And if you know someone who could use this reminder, share it with them. Stay steady. Stay strong. And above all, stay stoic.